Welcome everyone to the 63rd Keshe Knowledge Seekers Workshop. It's Thursday, May 28th, 2015. And today we'll be hearing from Mr. Keshe, and we'll have a question and answer session with, we've got lots of knowledge seekers in the background here ready to ask questions. And first we'll start off with the promotional video for the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute with English subtitles. Go ahead, Vince.
Where does humanity go from here? What have we tried to do? What if there is more? Much more. The Keshe Foundation is proud to announce a new way to bring humanity forward through technology that brings humanity in line with the natural operation of the planet and universe itself. The new science and technology discovered and developed by the nuclear engineer Keshe centers upon the use and control of magnetical gravitational fields. This new body of knowledge opens the road to hundreds of potential applications, which offer solutions to most of the fundamental problems of the world, such as water, food, environmental contamination, and shortages of energy. The Keshe Foundation is proud to unveil the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. Nestled amidst the beautiful shores of Bari, Italy, the Institute is poised to become a central hub in the spreading of plasma technology and knowledge. With its state-of-the-art 21st century facilities, the Institute will be able to provide students and staff an immersive way to learn the plasma technology, to be the leaders of the new generation of scientists and plasma engineers. The Keshe Foundation has opened the door to the world for peaceful usage of technology that is independent of the limited resources that are available on Earth. This is an understanding of how everything works together in harmony in our universe, and it applies to everything from the smallest to the biggest, from atoms to galaxies. We all are able to collectively work together in pursuit of knowledge, innovation, and solutions for our society. This learning environment is new to the world, where there will be no test to confirm your understanding. The knowledge of everyone will be respected and allowed to flourish in a nurturing environment. Hands-on testing and experimenting will be widely used in conjunction with roundtable discussions to bring all opinions and knowledge forward. Students will be introduced to a change in the ethos of working in collaboration. Students will experience firsthand how we share knowledge in a free and open manner. Graduating students are expected to share the knowledge they gain from the university within their respective communities and nations. All formal teachings, lectures, and presentations will be in the English language, with technology available for immediate translation. Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute will be offering 3-year executive master programs for undergraduate degree students and 1-year executive master programs for graduate degree students in the following fields: space transportation, new plasma technology, health, agriculture, materials, energy. The health section is designed to make students able to live in space without the need to return to Earth. To this end, the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute has found processes for many diseases including ALS, cancer, coma, epilepsy, multiple sclerosis. Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute will offer online teaching courses which will enable anyone, anywhere around the world to enroll and increase their knowledge and understanding. Students will have the opportunity to direct their work towards commercial spin-offs and seek funding through the help of the Keshe Foundation. The access to the new science and new technologies is openly available for peaceful use to the benefit of mankind to make a better world today. Now you can be part of the changing world and the new knowledge. All commercial spin-offs are intended to be open source and patent-free. This is part of the core ethos of the Keshe Foundation and the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute will have its official inauguration on April 21st, 2015, with courses commencing soon after on May 4th, 2015. The students of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute will be the leaders of the future who will make changes in all areas of space technology, science, medicine, agriculture, and energy. Anyone is able to apply, but acceptance is through invitation only. No prerequisites are required. We will be accepting approximately 250 students for the 3-year Executive Master's Program and 120 students for the 1-year Executive Master's Program. We welcome humanity's participation in the knowledge of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. Where does humanity go from here? That is up to you. Apply today.
Okay, that was the promo video for the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. And now we'll move into hearing from Mr. Keshe on some of the latest developments of the last few days. Hello, Mr. Keshe, can you hear me there? Oh, sorry, we're with Marko today.
Yes, good morning.
Or is Mr. Keshe there? It's a confusing day here.
Can you hear me?
Yes, hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, good morning. Yes, clearly. Yes, clearly. As we usually say, good morning, good day to you. Doesn't matter wherever you are, what time you listen or watch these videos. This morning, unexpectedly, I have to go to Rome for a meeting. So most of the sessions today and maybe tomorrow will be done by Marko, and Armen will be in support. And we'll see where we go. But in pattern, there's no changes. We have to learn that all of us are not all the time in the same place, and teaching and education should not stop just because one of us is not available. And in time, the new cycle of knowledge seekers will do the same, and this way we spread the knowledge totally than being dependent on one or two people. One of the most important things today, which we've been asked to do, is to put what we said last week in respect to the work of the Keshe Foundation peace work that we indicated from 21st of June of this year. We'll try to enforce peace. And what this means is that from now on, we do not talk. As we put a roadmap for the Keshe Foundation in 2014 and 2015, this year we're putting a roadmap, and today we put a roadmap down as we did last week in writing in what we expect from the world leaders in respect to the peace treaty. As was asked, and we have more or less done the job today at this minute, WINS can release what you've been asking, that we put the roadmap and our position regarding the peace treaty on the table. Read it. It has a lot of information and it needs a lot of commitment. To be able to do what we put on the table to achieve peace on the roadmap we set up means that you have to sign the peace treaty. And if out of a spur of moment or emotion, you signed a peace treaty a year ago, 2 years ago, last night, or some times ago, now you are called to commit yourself to your word and your writing and your signature. We have set up the peace roadmap in a very straight, direct, and in a very clean and clear position. That is what we expect as the people on this planet without the interference from governments. means we govern ourselves without being governed, to be correct, and not to have somebody to tell us what is not correct and wait for a punishment if we think it is not correct. As you read the peace roadmap, we have said that there is no punishment. But as you have seen since last week, we have started in such an insane way. It's been your dream, from shackles of controls of
we're losing you there, Mr. Keshe. We can't hear you. Breaking up. Hello, can you hear me? We can't hear you well right now.
Oh,
we're back
free
again.
from Hello, I can hear you.
Oh, you're breaking up, Mr. Keshe. We can't hear you.
Okay. Can you? Is it? Okay. So what it is that from what?
Oh, we lost it again. Okay.
We're releasing today is a roadmap. If anyone, only by the piece of it. So in that position, we have to understand this is not a. Can you hear me? Hello? 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 Can you hear me?
We can hear you now. Yes, we can hear you now. There was a
yes, you can hear me, yeah. Okay. So, break. Yeah, okay, we try to, I talk very short and I go off because I'm traveling, you can do your teaching. In this position, so the roadmap we released today, you can send it to every world leader, to every religious leader, to every nation, every citizen, that this is the plan to achieve what has been a dream. Peace without conflict, peace without threat, peace without harming another person. It's possible. But one of the first things you read is to bring peace at home. Peace first at home is not with the wife and family, it's a peace with ourselves. And if we can do this, then we start the whole process in the right direction. We are not asking for anything more or less than what we have already put on the table. Last night, in an interview with Mike Harris, I released a new piece of information which makes the use of the system, even what you've seen with Professor Lutzi, obsolete. It's out of date. A process which we introduce in the coming days or weeks when I come back, the process of transfer of diseases out of the body of the man, using the same knowledge as you have in respect to the CO2 extraction from the air. You extract diseases, materials, tumors, as energy, converting it to matter outside the body of the man. Never been done. I have done it. It's very practical. So the shortcut is easier than the way we tried to do it and we demonstrated it. I will release huge amount of knowledge to give you the pleasure of enjoying the beauty of new science. Not to force, but in understanding there is a new way, peaceful way. There is a new way to show to the world leaders we don't want to carry on to keep leaders. We want to carry on to keep peace. Most of the conflicts, we've seen it in the Ukraine situation. It was clash of personalities and who wanted to dominate Ukraine. European creating a false war and Putin standing in front of it. And we saw who won. The Americans did not even attend the peace conference, the negotiation, because they knew they were wrong to start with, because it was initiated on the religious basis on the cover of politics. And now we've seen, as the core team put support to it, We saw how in the past 7 days, 10 days, American officials congratulating the Russians for achieving peace in Ukraine the correct way. So peace can be done in a very correct way without any arms. And as we said, read it in the page 4 and 5, you understand we are ready to bring satellites in no commission condition. We are not destroying anything. As we said, out of commission. If they are set to be used for communication purposes worldwide, we support. If they are used for military actions, we bring a condition that will not work. The same with the aircrafts. Today I attend a meeting by request, emergency or the urgent request of the people, the organizers, to be able to talk with the world leaders in this level in Rome. So what you see, what you read, will be released today to the world leaders. It'll go directly to the White House, it'll go directly to Moscow, and it'll go directly to China, because their appointees are there and they have asked for not only a meeting. Tonight we'll attend the dinner and see how we can organize the whole thing. The reason they pay attention to us is not that they love us, because they know the change has come. We shouldn't become arrogant. We should become very humble in what we are delivering. Arrogance will blind us. Humbleness will give us strength. You've seen yesterday in the last part, we start opening this plasma technology in different way. And immediately with the facilities we have, Dr. Antonio, Marko, and the others went into the lab starting the process. Because if they get it right, they can show they can fly without the fuel, without burning any material. This allows the other people around the world to carry on, and in collectively, we do not need. We need organization of peace. You will bring together the energy to force peace, not the foundation. And I ask you one thing, be humble, that for the first time we can achieve peace without war. In the Second World War, we fought to get peace in Europe, but we fought for it. This time there is no fighting. And that's the beauty of it. No destruction. No danger that anybody can call the Keshe Foundation a terrorist organization. We are not terrorists. We are active scientists who want the beauty of this planet to be shown to humanity. I thank you for your time. I try to go offline because I'm traveling. I get cut off and on. I'll be online. I'll be listening. And I hope you're strong enough to put this information out with pride, not just because you have to. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. And you can see the peace roadmap up on the screen.
If you
there.
want, you can read it for the people who don't have the screen and listen online.
Okay, I'll do my best.
Because people if they don't download and just put a voice on, they can't read what it is.
Right. Okay. I can read that, and
I'll leave it with you to read it and I'll listen. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we'll also post the link for people shortly on that as well. I think we will. Right, Vince? Okay. So this is the peace roadmap that's just been released by Mr. Keshe. And this is the way it goes. On the 21st of May, 2015, the Keshe Foundation in its weekly workshop announced the beginning of setting up the procedure for establishing the promised world peace. In this announcement, we explained that the process to achieve global peace will take shape in the coming months through the work of the Keshe Foundation and the release of further new knowledge through the teachings arm of the foundation during the daily live stream sessions from its Spaceship Institute in Trani, Italy. In these teachings during the past months, we have taught, and in the coming months, we shall continue to teach new scientific criteria and systems that shall open the path for the process of using the new technology for establishing peace. We shall teach step-by-step procedures that start and bring into action what it takes to achieve the ultimate goal of the foundation, which is to facilitate and finally enforce world peace through applications and implications of the use of new technology. In this paper, we are setting the roadmap to achieve this elusive peace amongst men through the collective effort of the citizens of this planet, without relying on any government or path of belief. In this roadmap, we rely on the total collective efforts of the human race to develop and deliver the technological knowledge to the world public, which takes the need for governments out of the equation, eliminating the need for consent of the present controllers of the human souls. We totally rely on the maturity of the man in understanding what has caused the problems of the past and how it can be overcome. In this cycle of maturity of man, we do not depend on any government or faith, but we take into account that man has matured enough to take responsibility for his own destiny, to be living a correct life and conducting his affairs in line with living in peace amongst other creatures of God on this planet and in deep space. Our roadmap is simple and clear. It has taken millions of years for man to become such a destructive being, as man has seen solutions in everything by destroying and ending processes, only for him to survive and rule his world through acts like eating animals, killing fellow men, ending cultures, destroying races or passive belief. And by this method, he has enforced his meager will on defeated entities. Through the release of new knowledge, we have shown that man can cover every need of his existence without destroying another life or harming another soul, by using and understanding that all forces and energies of the universe are within his reach and command, if he gathers the knowledge and intelligence of how to harvest and use them to support others. Thus, with the release of this new universal science and technology, we have been and are taking step by step the essence of killing and destruction out of the RNA and DNA of the man, that he does not need to teach his children the mistakes of the past. And hence, for the first time in the life of this creature of the universe, we can introduce the process of attaining without needing to resort to the destruction of any other being in the universe. Even if man does not stop this ethos of killing and destruction of the essence of this creation of the earth, now that we are opening the doors of universal science and technology for the man to travel into deep space and to join the universal community, man will understand that unknowingly or knowingly, he cannot take steps to destroy another being for food or by having false intentions in respect to other creatures of space, and their reaction to protect themselves from being consumed or destroyed, and that this action leads to annihilation of the man in the open spans of the universe. In our teachings, we have shown and taught how to make new elements and free plasma, which can release enough energy to be sufficient to produce new materials to satisfy the need for energy and material for man in space. We have shown how to produce energies which can lead to the creation of motion in space without the destruction of other entities. The pitfalls of killing have been apparent to the man, but he has not managed to find a way out of this ever-closed maze of need as a justification for the killings. Thus now we need time and new procedures that will make man understand and take action and put into effect the process of de-killing, as killing has been ingrained in his daily pattern of life for millions of years. Thus now we guide man in how to walk away from the habit of killing. Even though this shall not be easy, it needs perseverance and understanding, and a correct path of approach and conduct, and understanding of the working of the universe. And we are here to teach it all. It is better to start with small steps at a time, that all men can understand and have time to think about the process of peace. To this effect, we are setting the following roadmap for the coming months, and if it fails, we have our means to enforce the will of the majority of the race for peaceful coexistence among men and other creatures of the universe. To start, we appoint one peace day per month, starting from June 2015, so that man starts making efforts and thinks about the alternative and correct path. So it follows. The first day of peace is appointed to be the 21st of June 2015, and this day of peace will as well follow on the 21st of July and August. In September, October, and November, there will be 2 days of peace a month, on the 21st and 22nd of each month. December 2015 and January and February of 2016, we increase the days of peace to 3 days a month from the 21st to the 23rd. From 21st of March of 2016, we increase the days of peace to 7 days a month, from the 21st to the 27th of each month for the following 3 months. From the 21st of June 2016, we increase the peace days to 14 days a month, again for 3 months. From the 21st of September 2016, we increase the peace days to 21 days a month for 3 months. By the 21st of December 2016, we ask and shall enforce peace indefinitely as designated. We expect to give time to the armies of the world to not even fire a single bullet during these days, not even for training purposes. We expect to relay the plan for peace processes to all sides of wars and conflicts, be it military, terrorist groups, or the opposite side of the same parties. This process of achieving peace will be shared and delivered by all the members of the Keshe Foundation, its supporters, and interested parties by completing the first space star formation reactors and simultaneously creating the field forces to silence the guns around the world, as we showed this process on Christmas Day of 2014 by using 3 sets of star formations around the world, one in Germany, one in Canada, and one in Italy, simultaneously coordinated to stop a reactor operation in Italy, as was broadcasted live on the internet to show our intention and will. We are teaching this process by making and operating space reactors rapidly in our Spaceship Institute, live on the internet on a daily basis, and soon we will test the first series of these reactors and their effect on a chosen number of satellites, which shall be designated to us by the world military for testing, that we decommission them live on the internet, with world leaders monitoring the process. Then, as we have mentioned, we will bring to halt the motion of military ships and military crafts, which will be allocated to the Foundation for testing the concept by their respective peace-loving nations. This way, we bring an end to the present unlimited expenditure on tools of war, which makes their present implication by the application of the new technology obsolete. By this act, governments are released from ever spending money for tools of war. so they can make these finances of war available for manufacturing the tools and systems for peace and for covering the essential needs of their citizens, like making shelter and food. We are not confronting governments, but setting the scene to show that the current military and defense technologies are out of date, and there is no need for their renewal or any further expenditure on arms. We share our space technology with all nations, and respectively, if the nations do not accept these tests of the show of the end of arms manufacturing and the end to conflicts, then members and supporters of the Foundation worldwide will choose a satellite for it to be taken out of commission, and we will inform the governments of the intention to make sure the satellite is not in use during the decommissioning, using the spaceship technology of the Keshe Foundation. With this gap of 3 months from 21st of June 2015 to September of 2015, we give governments themselves a chance to start the process of reallocation of the works of military factories and arms-producing companies to the production of new systems for the new technology for peace, so that jobs can be preserved. With this roadmap, we call upon all Keshe Foundation supporters to allow all national leaders and spiritual leaders of your communities and as many citizens to be aware of our intention to start the peace process, starting from the 21st of June of 2015. If within the first 3 months we do not see any movement with this process amongst the world leaders, we will begin the process of showing the power of the technology and our wish to start the process of peace as one nation, one planet, and one Keshe Foundation family. In this process of enforcing peace, we shall not harm anyone or any soul. We shall not cause any structural damage or any physical or financial losses to any nation. But we will stop warships on the high seas and decommission fighter planes of all nations on the runways. And we will erase the memory of so-called men of arms, that they shall not remember why they are carrying arms and what they were fighting for. This time around, there shall be no punishment for anyone, but only progressive development and release of more technologies to be available, that the old ways become obsolete. In this manner, more and more knowledge, science, and technologies shall be released into the public domain through daily teachings at the Spaceship Institute, that these actions force the disarmament and the unity of man, and the end to all wars. These advancements in technology, as has been shown, are in CO2 capture, health systems, star formation systems for creation of lift and motion, production of water units, creation of low power through the use of GANs and nano layers. We welcome everyone to support this move, and if need be, we shall show the man that out of fear of loss, he shall agree and connect and erase the ethos of war from the memory bank of his brain. We have the technology to do this. We have shown its work over the past 10 years. Now we are ready to use it to start the process of the roadmap for achieving peace. We invite political and religious leaders to join us to achieve this goal, because if we take this step, then there's no need for either, as they have failed the man in the past. I am resolute as the founder of the Keshe Foundation to see this process through. As shown in the past, we let governments be divided between peace and war, and now we let the citizens of the planet take their future in their own hands, and let them take their position in the universal community as peace-loving creatures by changing their old ethos. With this process, we'll bring an end to the old system of section leadership as presidents and kings, and we will bring an end to the religious structure to abuse. I've put an end to the process of religion and religious abuse in the name of God, and I have abolished the process of using the name of God to abuse and force abuse of the man. With this roadmap of peace, I declare the new cycle for the men of the earth, and with this cycle of peace, with trust in one's soul and action, that the new promise of unity becomes reality. As I have the knowledge and elements of the universe at my disposal to bring the peace to this planet in my time, I accept no deviation and no negotiation, but only the path which has been set above. The change has to come from within, because if I force it, then it would be harsh and unbearable for every man. I call upon the world leaders with this open letter to start the talks for the universal disarmament of all armies. And I give assurance that I shall see that no man will harm others, if need be. I take no position in this process, except the monitoring of the process for man to achieve this peace through correct transition. I have all that the universe has to offer at my disposal to bring about the change. But it is in the hand of the man to start the process so that I can assist. In my name I will act, and in my name I shall succeed, if needs be single-handedly. My call for peace is unconditional and irrespective of race, religion, and color. I aim to achieve peace in the appointed time. It is my wish and my command, it shall not be diverted from. I call for all men of peace to come together to see the beginning of the most beautiful time for man on this broken wing of this endangered bird called Earth, flying through the space of the universe. In my name, and then parentheses, even though some would like to call it the Messiah, 27/5/2015. Okay, that was the peace roadmap. That was just
it looks like we have Mr. Keshe joining us again.
I think that's what I heard there.
Thank you for that, Mr. Keshe. And I know there's lots of people on live stream that...
I can barely hear you there, Vince.
Are you there, Mr. Keshe?
Yes, I'm here on and off.
Sorry, I had to switch back to
questions about this.
No, I just wanted to say thank you for that. I know there's a lot of people on live stream that are really glad to hear of the peace process.
If there are any questions we can answer, otherwise I'll mute and hand over to Marko to carry on with the normal workshop.
I think I got people saying on live stream that I think we're done talking. Let's get to the action.
They're saying that the live stream was not working, so I'm wondering if there's a problem there.
No, I've already checked, Rick.
Okay.
It blocked out for a while. I had to go out and come back in again.
Okay. Okay, I think Mr. Keshe is
if we can put editing pages on the, if we can put this on the front of the Keshe Foundation website and on the SSI, that people can read it every time they enter the website. Maybe we can put a transparent page when they come into, they can read it.
Right. Is that possible to do soon, Vince, or is that?
Yeah, I'll have somebody working on that. No problem.
Is that going? Okay.
So there are no questions. I go on the mute. and we leave it to Marko to take over. And I know Armen in China is on the backup.
Yeah, I don't see any questions on the chat here on the GoToMeeting. I haven't seen the other chat. There was one question before from Nadine, but it had to do with lasers, and she said she just doesn't know a lot about lasers, but she was wondering if laser light was similar or the same as plasma.
In a way, yes, but it's mono. You can make mono laser plasmas too. It's part of the way you see certain lights from the stars. Monoplasma, that's what's known as a laser. It depends more or less on the gravitational magnetic field of the point of destination. Whether light is released from the, let's say, star, on one side you have a different gravitational magnetic pull, you don't have a mono. But if at a certain point it's a mono structure, so you only can attract a given strength gravitational magnetic field from the star. So the light towards you, if you're on that planet, becomes a laser, plasma laser, or mono strength magnetic field.
Oh, we're losing you, Mr. Keshe.
Is quite. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. We missed a few critical words there that might be necessary if we were guiding a spaceship through space. Maybe you could just recap the last sentence. Oh. Mr. Keshe, are you there? Oops, we lost him temporarily.
You can hear me?
Oh, now we can. Yes, we lost you.
Yeah, I think I better. If you put this question down for Monday when we speak about the plasma and bring it up, we'll explain in detail in an exact scientific way.
Okay, that's a good.
Or let Marko and Armen explain. And I'll go offline because I'm traveling. I keep on cutting off. So we explain this in detail. I'll hand it over to Marko and Armen.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
Thank you very much for today. Thank you.
Okay, let's switch over to. Can we switch over to Marko there now?
Sorry, I just had to unmute and everything else. Just 1 second here.
And I'll just put in the, just briefly put in the link for the Mike Harris interview, I thought.
And also, Rick, I'll send you a link here that you can also put up, or you can click on the piece banner in the homepage of the Keshe Foundation site, and it will take you to the text that we just seen on the live stream.
Oh, perfect.
So that is already up on the website, and we're working on other means that it's more visible for people. So if you want to head there to check it out, that's not a problem. It's already there.
Okay, do you have the link? Where are you going to place the link? Is it? Do you have it there handy?
Yeah, just the Keshe Foundation site.
Okay.
Or if you want to go directly to it, I can give you that link as well. You okay there, Marko?
Sure, where I got.
Okay.
Where did you send that, Vincent?
On your screen.
Oh, there it is. It's a new way of doing things. I see. Okay, let's see if I can put it in here.
Somewhere that everyone can reach it and copy it and send it to governments and to all the chiefs of the armies and wherever it should be sent. It be great.
Yes. And again, thank you to Mr. Keshe for bringing that forward, because I think humanity needs to be able to come together on the peace and be able to stop the war.
Yeah, it's a pretty big concept, this whole idea of actually ending war, and not just war, but violence in general. And we do see quite a strong move that way in many respects in the world now. For example, with abuse of women and children, we see many people being arrested and otherwise investigated and so on, regarding abuse that's gone back as far as 50 years. And we have the natives getting a resolution of some of their problems of the past and so on, and starting to get more equal rights around the world when they're battling larger corporations and that sort of thing. They're starting to attain more power. And between the native groups and the women groups, that's a very large portion of the population of the planet. And there seems to be a strong push from those sectors, at least, and maybe it'll be enough to convince more of the men to drop their arms, let's say.
Yeah, absolutely. It's peace, and once again, peace. I think something that's most important in our lives. So we should go inside ourselves and find this peace and share this peace amongst the others. I never understood the word around me that so much violence is around. It was difficult to understand this. And in a way, I tried to what I could do in my way to bring this peace to myself and to others also. So that's why I think I am also here as part of Keshe Foundation. What is Keshe Foundation? It's just a place where, by my feelings, people are coming together, that they share same understanding, same feeling, and the peace is on the top priority in Keshe Foundation. So I would like to thank Mr. Keshe that he brought up this roadmap, and that we have all support from him, from technological part, and also with his teachings and his guidance. I admire him because he's sharing his knowledge unconditionally. He's not jealous at all. you can see that scientists try to protect their knowledge and try to make patents to make like small kingships, I would say. But Mr. Keshe is sharing his knowledge freely with all of us, with the world population and government. So when we see that our governments are not doing their job, we should take actions on our own. Everybody knows what is right and what is wrong, and war is wrong. Peace is right. So let's go to ourselves, inside ourselves, and try to find what we can do, small things that we can do, and from each of us brings small piece that the big picture of world peace will come together. This process started already 2-3 years ago. I remember the World Peace Treaty was the official day of World Peace Treaty was on 21st of April 2012, if I remember correctly. And I remember at that day, that was important for me, and I organized in a public place signing of the World Peace Treaty, and that was on the border between Italy and Slovenia, just on the border. And there is border between two countries, but there is no more police, no more army, nothing at all at this border. So you can freely pass the border. And I put a stand over there, and people who were passing by, they could sign World Peace Treaty. But what I want to say, it's 20 years ago, 30 years ago, this could not be possible. On that same place, 30 years ago, there was army. Armed officers with weapons to protect the border. But during the process of creating European Union as one union without borders, that border slowly came down. In a certain moment, armies went from the border and police changed them, but they just check from time to time that border. And 10 years ago, even police is not checking border anymore. So what I want to say, if we would be 30 years ago, we could not imagine that sometime in the future this border will be freely passed as it is now. So the same it is now. Maybe it's difficult to imagine that in a few months or a year there will be a world without arms. But let's start with our wish and work towards this goal, and we will achieve it. We know what is right, and we know what is wrong. So we know that peace is right, and let's take action towards this peace, inform our governments what we are doing, and ask them to follow this peace process. And at the same time, we should educate ourselves how to behave correct, how to also provide ourselves with everything that we need for our lives without abusing each other. Let's try to teach ourselves right conduct. We have all support from Mr. Keshe, so there is no way to fail. And that's why here in Trani we started this teaching process. First 1 year master's program. These are online teachings which are every day Mr. Keshe is teaching unless he's away like today. Then other can jump in. And maybe in promotional video this is not specifically said, but you can enroll to this teaching even later, because all the teachings are recorded and available on the server. So you can go to these teachings later, whenever you have time, and find some details about technology. Maybe you are missing some part in your understanding, and here you have opportunity to go to the server, listen to the lecture again, and progress in your knowledge. So I would like to invite all of you to be part of this learning process. And there are these public workshops which actually World Public is sharing his understanding of plasma technology every Thursdays, and also on Tuesdays, a Chinese workshop, health workshop, Spanish workshop. So I would like to invite everybody who has any new understanding on or who can add to the knowledge of the plasma technology. I don't know, maybe I have a video here about, if we can go to the technological part. We know about nano-coating and how we can do nano-coating. There are different procedures how to nano-coat material to achieve different results in our plasma tests. And maybe I would like to share my experience. I already shared in the Skype or Facebook also, but I don't know if I put also the video on it. Let me see. Usually we use caustic to nano-coat the materials like copper or any other materials. I have done some tests at home, and I used another process, and I achieved quite good results with this process. The difference is that I made a liquid solution for nano-coating, and I can use this solution several times. I don't need to use caustic at every time. So you can lower costs of your nano-coating process. You only do this mixture once, and then you can use it whenever you need it. Just let me see. How can I do my screen sharing in this computer? Can anybody help me? Okay. Okay. I will try to put the video on. So, if you see the screen, there is a plastic box, and inside this plastic box there is white solution. And when I just use this for copper, to coat copper, and whenever I put copper inside, copper was nano-coated. So here are some close pictures. I'll try to explain how I'm doing this. This was done at home, and as I'm now in Italy, and I should do more tests on it, but I will come at home. Okay, this is other thing. This is not part. And another one. So this is a piece of copper tube, and you can see on one end it's this soldering tin and soldering composite on it, and on this part you cannot achieve nano-coating. So you can separate which part you can nano-coat and which part not. What I did, usually when we do nano-coating, we are using caustic, and this remains of the caustic. I put just a little bit in another container. I have put aluminum mesh into the same container, and few pieces of nano-coated copper on it. And during the time, this aluminum slowly dissolved, and it became whitish, creamish solution. What you can see in the background is this whitish solution, and this takes time, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It should be a very slow process. And then just added water, and in this solution, when I put copper, then I achieve this nice nano-coating. So I don't need to use caustic again, and in this way I can save some costs. So maybe to somebody,
Marko, could you repeat what the solution was again that you used there?
Usually we use caustic and we add hot water. That's the usual process to coat copper. But when this caustic cools down, then usually you just throw it away. I use just a little bit of this caustic and I put aluminum mesh on the bottom of the container. And then this, and also some pieces of nano-coated copper on it. And this aluminum mesh slowly dissolved and created whitish, creamish sediment at the bottom. When this was created, I added water, and in this solution then later I put copper, and this picture that you see, this is the result of copper, which is, I know, a few days. Sometimes I leave it also 14 days, depends.
Totally immersed, it would be, right?
In this solution, this whitish solution that you
I see, interesting. Well, definitely when aluminum gets dissolved with caustic, hydrogen is released, which is a pretty powerful combination in there. So somehow that is enough to create the conditions, apparently. So that's interesting.
So
what is it? Could you tell me? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just want to say, if somebody sees this interesting for him, let's try it and do some improvements or whatever. As I said, this was done at home, and here does have opportunity to do these tests more.
And can you tell me what's the quality of the coating? Is it smooth and hard and shiny, or more flaky and soft, or how would it be?
It's not shiny. It's
black.
Yeah, it's black, but not shiny. And
will it rub off on your fingers?
I tried, but I could not remove it. Well,
okay.
You know, when you use some sharp scraper or whatever, you can still remove it. Yeah.
Right.
Armen, are you there too?
Okay, that's what I wanted to share, and if somebody finds it useful, it will be okay. Otherwise, it's also okay. So, do we have anything else in this workshop? Is any other presentation? Anyone else wants to present his things as it was in the other workshops?
Okay, Rick.
I'm sure we can generate some questions, but I don't have anyone with immediate display. We did have Mario show some new drawings in the Keshe Plasma Reactor group last evening, local time for me, morning for you guys. That was interesting. He described his drawings, and when we discussed that for more than a couple of hours, I think. But second here, I have to get going on. 1 minute. Okay, put the logo on for now. Okay, so I do have something I would like to present in terms of just a piece of science that came through today that I thought was interesting. What would you say? Coincidence, in the sense that we've been talking in the workshops lately about the spacing between the nanomaterials, and the idea that Mr. Keshe has brought up, that we've, generally speaking, with our reactors, when we've been spinning them, we've been locking down the structures too much. We're not allowing the slipperiness between the layers, which is essentially a larger gap between the layers, to enable the plasma to flow more readily and to have actually counter-rotating flow and so on. You can't do that with a locked-in structure. And he's mentioned hints such as not rotating as fast, because the fast rotation tends to lock in the gravitational structure more solidly, and we want to be loosening it up more. So less RPMs would be one hint. And so I found it interesting that there's this article. Let me see if I can get it lined up here on my screen.
Yes, this was discussion yesterday on online teachings in the afternoon. We were discussing about how to achieve
right,
not so that layers inside the reactors will not stop.
Right. So in the phys.org link that just came out 20 hours ago, which is just about the time of the workshop. It may have been the time of the workshop. I'd have to work that out. But what it says, the title is Linking Superconductivity and Structure. And you can see this diagram. Everybody's seen that? Oh, yeah, it's coming up in the live stream. This is a crystal structure of sodium, iron, and I think it's asminium or some other compound, arsenide. Okay, so the idea here is the black balls in between these red layers are sodium. Well, sodium is our big friend, as we know. We were just talking about sodium hydroxide, and there's salt is sodium chloride, and so on. So sodium is a big part of our structures that we use in our GANs, creating GANs and whatnot. So here it's a very interesting idea that's brought up here, which is, let me read the article so that it starts to make more sense here. Bear with me. It says, superconductivity is a rare physical state in which matter is able to conduct electricity, maintain a flow of electrons without any resistance. It can only be found in certain materials, and even then it can only be achieved under controlled conditions of low temperatures and high pressures. New research from a team including Carnegie's Essianos, Stravo, Zhao Chen, and Alexander Goncharov, hones in on the structural changes underlying superconductivity in iron arsenide compounds, those containing iron and arsenic. It's published by Scientific Reports. Says, although superconductivity has many practical applications for electronics, including scientific research instruments, medical engineering, MRI and MMR machines, and potential future applications, including high-performance power transmission and storage, and very fast train travel, the difficulty of creating superconducting materials prevents it from being used to its full potential. As such, any newly discovered superconducting ability is of great interest to scientists and engineers. So these iron arsenides are relatively recently discovered superconductors. The nature of superconductivity in these particular materials remains a challenge for modern solid-state physics. So they're still challenged with explaining these things. If the complex links between superconductivity, structure, and magnetism in these materials are unlocked, then iron arsenides could potentially be used to reveal superconductivity at much higher temperatures than previously seen, which would vastly increase the ease of practical applications of superconductivity. So, goes on here, and it says, when this iron arsenide is combined with a metal, such as the sodium-containing sodium ferric arsenide compound studied here, it is known that the ensuing compound is crystallized in a tetrahedral structure. Tetrahedral, ring a bell? Okay, but until now, a detailed structure of the atomic positions involved and how they change under pressure had not been determined. So the layering of the arsenic and iron in this structure is believed to be key to the compound's superconductivity. So the layering is key to the superconductivity. However, under pressure, this structure is thought to be partially mishappen into a so-called collapsed tetragonal lattice, which is no longer capable of superconducting or has diminished superconducting ability. So this is what it looks like. It collapses. The structure collapses under pressure. In other words, if this was our GAN structure, it would collapse under pressure of high RPMs. And you see how the atoms get locked in. The plasma gets locked in. There's no longer the flow, which you see in the previous diagram. There's no longer the spacing between the layers. And the sodium keeping the spacing there, the sodium plasma free to flow, free to move. And in the collapse structure, it's flipped in and it locks everything in place. These poor sodium atoms can't go anywhere. So I thought that it's very applicable to what we've been talking about, essentially. So they use experimental evidence and modeling under pressure to actually demonstrate these previously theorized structural changes. The tetragonal to collapse tetragonal on the atomic level. This is just the first step toward definitely determining the link between structure and superconductivity, which could potentially make higher temperature superconductivity a real possibility. Now, they showed that it's at about 40,000 times the normal atmospheric pressure. That's when it takes on this collapsed structure. So, in other words, that would be the same as saying 40,000 G, 40,000 times the pressure. So 40,000 G sounds like a lot, but in the terms of spinning spinning devices, it's not that difficult to get 40,000 G actually. So what happens is the pressure changes the angles in the layers, and it coincides with the loss in superconductivity. And it changes the coordination and so on. It loses its two-dimensionality. In other words, the layering, this two-dimensional layering. And when that happens, it just loses its superconductivity. So this thing of structure and layering is super important in the way in the objective of getting superconductivity, which I think is what we're shooting for in one sense or another. It may be not a science's version of superconductivity, but a type of superconductivity. There's other types they're finding now besides the traditional superconductivity. But definitely you can see the change in the layers between something that can be easily sliding and having that interaction between the layers in a plasmatic manner compared to the interaction between the layers in the physicality, the linking, actual physical. It's not physical in a way, it's the interactions between atoms still in plasmatic way and so on. But it's locked in. There's no longer the degree of freedom that's enabled with the open structure. So moral of the story is don't rotate your GANs too fast and try to have something in between as the slippery layer that allows the interaction between the layers in a plasmatic manner, but still keeps the spacing correct. So that's what I wanted to show there, this link between the structure and superconductivity that right, even science is finding out about.
We already know that it's about the structure, right? That's initially how
yes, we've known this for years, basically. Yeah.
But that's the first thing that Mr. Keshe was talking about was SP2 and SP3. And he wasn't talking about the diamond or graphene. He was talking about the structure of it.
So, right, exactly.
Now, I mean, we have.
Can you? We
can't hear you, Vince.
Sorry. 3 years later, then we have scientists coming out talking about structure.
Yeah, well, they've known about structure, but what they haven't been able to do is this to measure anything or even come up with decent theories and so on. They're having a really hard time. This is a whole new realm to them. They didn't know that these structures could suddenly collapse and they have all these little, so many intricate things that happen under superconductivity and so on. It's they're just basically admitting their ignorance in this article. It's kind of funny sometimes when you hear leading scientists having to admit that they really don't know what the heck is going on here, but they are still.
It happens all the time, Rick.
Yeah, it's true.
So Marko, can you check the chat in the GoToWebinar? I'm going to post some questions in there from live stream. Can you see the live stream at all?
Yeah, just a second to open this. Yeah, I would just want to say, well, they're talking about layers, and we have these layers here. You have our nano layers, so we are working in the same direction with our nano-coating process. We achieve these layers, and we achieve these gaps between nanolayers, between atoms, which are growing from the bottom of the copper. So we have tool in hand to use this as a superconductor. Mm-hmm. And it's easy process. Everybody can do it at his home. in a garage, in a kitchen, wherever. You have to be careful anyway, but you can do it at your home.
Okay. There's Marko, there's a question here in the live stream from Nadine. Marko, would you please explain to all of us what is caustic? What does it exactly, what does it, I think she means, what does it do exactly to matter? Does it take off the densest part of matter to facilitate transition matter to be more free to link up with something else? To link up with some, let me give you that last part. Does it take off the densest part of matter to facilitate transition matter to be more free to link up with something else?
Well, it just provides energy that atoms can separate from the molecular structure of the copper, let's say.
The caustic provides that energy, you mean, is that what you're saying?
Caustic in conjunction with water.
The hot water.
You have sodium inside, which is magnetic material, which creates again that magnetic environment and helps with this process. So when you create this first layer on the top of the copper, you already create this magrav environment. You have separate atoms, and when they interact between each other, they create like magrav, magnetic and gravitational, and they pull out other atoms from the structure of the copper. And then this process carry on until it's thousands and thousands of layers. Then you can see that black coating on the top of the copper. So that's the process. You can do it other way also. You can do it with electricity, electric currents. There are people who are doing coating with electric current. You can achieve it also in that way. So if there is anybody here who has more experience with nano-coating with electricity, he can explain.
I think Armen could, but I'm not sure if he's around right now.
Yes, I am.
Listening in patiently. Can you give us a few hints on the process with nano-coating with using electricity?
You can use a caustic again. You know, on one side to use let's say if you're nano-coating copper, so you have to put in a caustic copper and copper. So after, let's say, an hour or so, you have perfect nano-coated material. You just let it dry. And you can repeat the process several times. Even after that, you can put in a caustic, and it's going to be very dark nano-coated. It's a simple process as you do GANs, but you have to connect low current. So it takes an hour and two to nano-coat a very sizable plate. So then you do drying process again. It's a different way, actually. You force the atom to release. The other way, you pull the atom to release from the material. Actually, you create a right temperature, which the atom release from the surface. This way, you just force the atom to be released by applying energy. Any questions?
Could you just say again the how many times and
Hello?
Can you hear me, Armen? Hello, can you hear me?
Stop.
Hello, Armen?
So, if there is anybody here who has more experience with nano-coating with electricity,
We have some feedback through there.
Guys, you heard it, or the connection is bad in here? Sometimes, you know, it disconnects.
I heard, but not just whatever you just said. I was going to ask you to repeat the part about how many times you and for how long you would apply the. I assume it's what, a couple of volts.
Yes, couple of volts, and you know, you can see it yourself if how dark it is. You know?
But how often would you apply the couple of volts, and for how long during that, say, an hour process?
It depends how big your material is.
Okay, say it was a pie-shaped piece. How often would one apply the power in that case? Pie plate.
Actually, you will see it yourself if you know water. Actually, in the how dark the material is becoming in front of your eyes.
Can't quite hear you there, Armen.
So you let it dry and you repeat the process again.
Oh, I think we're getting...
couple of times it's okay. I think you can build up enough layers. If it's dark, that means you have more layers. Again,
Right.
Disconnected.
Disconnected?
Yeah.
On the live stream? I can hear you, Armen. Hello? Or are we getting... is that a recording?
What we can do with this... nothing.
Hello, Armen. Can you hear me?
Can I speak? When you introduce current flow, you create a push for the release of the energy at the boundaries. And that push for movement releases the outer layers atomic structure. That's how you do it. You don't need a very high voltage, but you need a very, very low current. Always remember when you're making nano-coating, there is a fundamental principle. In the universe, there are no megawatts and volts. It's all micron and nano amps and voltage. Your body continuously produces nanomaterial in a gas state at micron, less than tens of thousands of times less than 1 microamp. So don't look for the habit of man to be big that it does. You'll find out you achieve more with very, very little input. You can release the atomic structure. That's why Armen explains that, and that's how Marko explained using caustic several times. When you heat it, you speed up the process. When you do it not heating, then you rely, as Marko explained, on the gravitational magnetic field of the salt you use. The heavier salts in mass you use, the faster the results you get. If you use potassium, if you use mixture of potassium and sodium, you'll get the same result, but much faster. And there is another way to do, which, as we explained, once we open the channels of the plasma, you can produce, using a soft formation, nanomaterials and GANs at will from any material. That's much easier and safer than the present caustic and electricity. Sorry about that, just adding to the information, to the knowledge.
Certainly no apology required, Mr. Keshe. Thank you. Okay.
There are some questions here.
Yeah.
So you use a wire brush to remove the nanomaterials. Then how would you attach the materials to another material? Yes, you can use brush also to remove nanomaterials, but I don't understand question why you would like to attach materials to another material. Here we are trying to work in a plasma, and you want to go again to materials. So I don't quite understand this.
The only place I could see maybe would be what about nanomaterials used in the reactor along with the GANs and dry GANs and so on.
Yeah, that's what we were talking yesterday on online teachings.
So that might be one way to get it, would be to just simply wire brush the particles off or scrape them off a wire or something like that, I suppose. But it doesn't seem like the best way.
Yesterday, but not with a brush. He used a knife, and he softly scratched off nanomaterials. Also,
I was doing the same
Antonio
thing
was
as well.
trying to do this, but it was not so soft. And he scratched also a little bit of copper in the middle. So you have to be careful and precise when you are doing this, not to crash nanolayers and be as much as possible powderish. And why we were scratching them? We're scratching them to use them inside the dynamic reactor. With these nanolayers, we try to make another layer in between the layers. So nanolayers are again magnetic entities, magnetic materials. If we look, when we work in matter, matter is very compact and it's very close together. Let me see. They stick to each other and there is no movement. But when we try to do nanolayers, we try to separate. So that we have this gap between. Then we don't need to work with materials anymore. We have a magnetic environment here in between these gaps. That's why we are doing nano-coating, to go away from material. And then the next process is to create out of nanomaterials GaNs material. So we put it in a salt solution, and let's say we get copper oxide GaNs. And this is even more loose. But they are magnetically connected. There are magrav connections between these entities, between GaNs entities. Every GaNs is small ball, is small entity, is small plasma. So that's why we are trying to go away from the matter.
Explains that. That's how Marko explained using.
Okay. I thought it's a comment. So here, in a matter, everything is compacted. So no much place to move. There is vibration, but because of this vibration, you have heat, you have losses and whatever. But here in nanostructure, material is already loose. There are gaps between, and you allow the flow of the fields, of plasmatic magnetic fields in these layers. And that's why Rick explained before, the physicists are coming with this layering, with different types of layering, and that they achieve superconductivity. Here in our nanostructure is again superconductivity, because we achieve these layers, and field flow is between the layers. We don't have this vibration of electron anymore. We have magnetic connection between atoms, between nano layers. So that's why this is superconductive. But as Rick said, when they squeeze these nanolayers, they lose their property of superconductivity. So again, when we are working with these nanomaterials, we should not touch them much, because when we touch them, we squeeze them, and they come more together. Then again, we go to the matter again. So we have to be careful when we are handling these nanomaterials. Maybe what is important, and on online teachings, people who are participating on online teachings, they heard about this, and sometimes we don't achieve results with our nano-coated wires because we didn't position them in right position, in right sequence. When we have copper wire, we have to be very careful when we cut it to different sections, like A, because this is one copper wire, and it's created. It's a special process how they made the copper wire, and when we cut these wires, we have to be careful on the direction how we cut it and how then we connect these wires together, so that we continue the field flow. If this is one end, when we cut these pieces and when we nano-coat them, we have to be careful about this direction. And when we put them, if this is piece A, B, and C, Giovanni, do you have this in your notes? So when we do this connection, we have to go from this part to this part then, that we continue the same field flow. Otherwise, when we change one of these, we will create opposite field flow, and then we don't have results. So you have to be very careful about these connections. Is it so? Okay. Giovanni has the best notes here. I think he's very strict about this. Okay, that's about this. So if sometimes you don't achieve results with your nano-coated materials, you have to look at this. Maybe you've done mistakes and you didn't connect in the right sequence your parts in your energy producing cells or in some other experiments that you are doing. How about using sometimes something simple like charcoal dust dissolved in water as gun separator, since charcoal is nanomaterial? Yeah, why not? Yeah, maybe. If you have these dynamic reactors, please try, and maybe next session you can inform us also about your experience with this. So if you want to nano-coat a magnet made of iron, would the coating from iron the same as having nano-coating from copper? Yes, it would be the same. It would be the same. The problem is when you will do nano-coat. If you want to do nano-coat, if you want to nano-coat the magnet, and if you do it in a caustic, most probably you will lose magnetic properties of the magnet because of high temperature. So you should use some cold process with electric current or some other process. I hope other people will come with their experience into these workshops and share it, so that we don't try to cover all this knowledge, because in the end, who will profit out of this? Just to make money for themselves? Well, yeah, maybe. A simple explanation of that ask people online. Have a simple explanation. So why NaOH and why KOH? You create this environment to release heat, and again, it's magnetic material which pulls up the atoms from the surface. Okay. What are the conditions that cause the collapse of an established free plasma, and can the free plasma be re-established in the rest of the reactors? In the rest of the reactors are still active. Well, in a way, you cannot collapse free plasma completely at all. I would say you can just increase or decrease its strength. Plasma be re-established. Yeah, free plasma can always be re-established. Okay, any other things from other side? Maybe some other people can do. Otherwise, I can try to remember from online teachings what also interesting that people here in public teachings can pick something from. For me, it was very interesting, the experiment that Chinese were doing last time, not this week, but 2 weeks ago. The experiment with nano-coated plastic container and moving of the object inside this nano-coated container. And then later in the online teaching, we Hello.
Can I add to this a little bit? Yes.
Yes, please.
Please.
Yeah. Something which I think what Marko just touched about is important to understand is that try to bring different parts of the knowledge you're learning into the structure of the target, which is to create flight. Condition to be able to lift. Condition to be able to create directional flow. What is very interesting is, as usual, even Marko just now very passively explained that what the Chinese showed us, what was explained before, a couple of weeks or the days before, the Chinese showed us this movement, and then another scientist or a knowledge seeker in England did the same. Stand still and think. If you have, now that we explained how to create a motion in the reactor, in the plasma, for the condition of creation of gravitational magnetic fields simultaneously, and understand what the Chinese did and showed us, this should give you a very clear indication, if you understand it in its total, how you can create motion within the plasma without any motors. If you coat your reactors and at the same time create a motion outside it, then you don't need a motor to make the plasma dynamic. It needs a good understanding. The Chinese have shown us, the English gentleman has shown us, we have shown it for a long time, that now move away from having motors. You became very passive as usual, just seeing that when you move a hand or a wood, the container, whatever is inside it moves. Extend the knowledge, extend the curiosity of the man. Become curious, why? How can I use this? Just don't look at it as just a show. Something was shown. This is how actually the universe works. Nanomaterials, non-matter materials create motion in the plasma when they have mixture of nanomaterials inside them. Go back on the teaching of yesterday in what we were discussing. You have a container which will have a mixture of plasmas, but your nanomaterial, the black, will behave very much like matter in the plasma condition of the gases and dry gas. To move the plasma or use it from moving the plasma and the GANs for movement of the material outside, which then, if you understood it in reverse, gives you the rotation of the reactor, which then dictates balance itself. This is how the the motion of the planets are dictated, and you became passive. I explained to you, and I keep on saying, we start teaching in detail to understand. Now, if you understood what the Chinese showed us, and if you understood what I've just explained, it comes very natural to you to understand you need no motors to create rotation in a physical matter structure like planets. And that's how you get the motion of the continents. This is how continental plates move. The forces of the matter inside in plasmatic condition, when it comes in contact with a matter state, creates motion. So maybe we take from today a very a secret of the creation which we never understood. How? Pardon? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so now you understand how even continental plates motion and movement comes into operation. Inside the center of the plasma of the Earth, fields create conditions of the motion on the matter state. When another matter state in the center creates motion for it in a nano or a Gans state. This is how literally solidification, conversion of plasma to matter takes place, and then the interaction of the matter of different strength leads to solidification on the outer layer of the planetary structure. And no other way. It's not that the temperature releases and becomes solidifies. You have to change the gravitational magnetic field interaction, extract it or add to it that the magnetic field of the plasma in gravitational magnetical field become a state of the matter state strength. So when you saw the Chinese showing the movement of the matter inside, think back reverse. The way as the teaching of yesterday, the indication came that the slow motion of the gas inside creates a rotation, and I opened the door on the other hand. Now bring the two sides of the knowledge together. What you've seen, understand, and then you find out you can throw all your motors away. You dictate the position of the reactor, you lock it, and then the field interaction in the matter state of one core dictates the motion of the other one. There are no motors. Motor is a man-made thing. So as we expand the knowledge in universal condition, you see the rotation of the planet, you see the rotation of the stars. Now you should understand exactly how it's created, because even in the layer of the stars, the gravitational magnetic field force of the matter of the lower state creates the motion inside, and the reverse comes back up to it, and then dictates the motion of the plates outside, and what you call the surface motion. You see this clearly on the surface of the sun. Earth has a solid state. It's the same with the plasma on the surface of the sun, because the plasma on the surface of the sun has reached a matter state Gans of lower strength in respect to the gravitational magnetic field of the center. And at that point, it dictates the limitation of the structure. And you see the boundary. You see solid surface, you see the boundary of the star, even though it's in the plasma. So it is important to understand this. Then very soon in the coming weeks, you can throw all your motors away. If you understood this, then motors become irrelevant. Remember one thing which you teach from the beginning. You have never seen wings on the planets or the stars, but they fly the spans of the universe. You see no motors. How it's created. Now you have found part of the answer between yesterday and the Chinese demonstration of the motion of the matter inside, which dictates the rotation of movement from outside, or vice versa. So if you understood this, think a little bit about it, and in the coming weeks we should see rotating what you call plasmas, reactor cores, without the existence of any motors. We are going very fast. The knowledge spread is becoming too fast, but try to understand the connection between different structures, different state of plasma, the strength of the plasma in respect to its environment. Then you all can create from ping pong balls, which can create lift. The only thing you need, you have to literally encage it, that it stays at the position you like, that it can give you a constant free plasma to dictate what I call the D2 condition. Sorry about that. I'll leave it to you, Marko. Thanks very much. Thank you.
So, maybe I will try to repeat what we were discussing on online teachings about this experiment from Chinese, and to give also to the others who are not in online teachings to have maybe a little bit of insight. Giovanni, do you remember how it was? That experiment, how was it? How was the configuration? That Chinese experiment.
Yes.
Okay. Giovanni has good notes, yeah. So there was plastic container, nano-coated. I was trying to nano-coat Coca-Cola bottle last time, but actually I destroyed it. It was too much heat. So I have to do it again. Then he has put a piece of metal in it. I think he also covered it. And with another object, moved outside. He achieved moving inside of this container. So how can we understand from plasma point of view this phenomenon, and what can we learn, as Mr. Keshe said, how can we achieve movement without motors? Here outside he was moving like a wooden object or just hand, and the metal inside moved also. If you go 14 days ago to the Chinese workshop, you can see this experiment. And what is going on here? With this movement, we change, let's say, pressure, but pressure is again magnetic gravitational field properties. We change pressure in matter state level, and the matter container on the outer side detects this pressure, the changes of the pressure, and then this is picked up in a matter level, also in nano layers, in nanostructure on the inside of the container. And because this is nanostructure, it's magnetic environment, and it creates magnetic environment in whole container. So the matter pressure, matter magnetic field pressure is picked up by nanolayers and increased, or how can we say, what's this English expression? Yeah, flow, and when you increase something, no, I just cannot get this word.
Amplify?
Amplify, yes, thank you, Rick. Actually, you get an amplification, and then you create magnetic field flow inside the container. And because this magnetic field flows, it flows, and when touches the matter, which is different composition, it's more compact, it's not so loose, it creates like magnetic wind. And as I understood, you create friction, and you get differences, let's say, magnetic pressure on one side of this metal wire is different than on the other side, and this difference in strength of the fields creates motion. But the point here is that we create much stronger field flow because it's magnetic nanostructure inside. And these stronger fields, when they interact with the lower field strength of the matter, then they create this motion. So what we can do, maybe, if we understand this process, actually Mr. Keshe suggested to us a few weeks ago also that we can try to put like this metal wire inside nano-coated container and try to rotate it. And then if we put around like coils, we can do different configuration maybe. If we have a spherical nano-coated container and then we put inside a wire or a piece of metal, and we try to rotate this. This is nano-coated. This should be nano-coated. And again, we create magnetic wind in different way because we are moving metal piece inside magnetic environment. And if we put around this sphere like coils, and then we can pick up this because here again there is a conversion of plasmatic field flow to the matter field flow, and we can try to pick up the fields in a matter level. So in a way, because this works in plasmatic level and converts into the matter level, we get amplification again, and we can try to get enough energy that we can connect the energy that is picked up by the coils, by the windings, and to fit to this rotational device, and so that we can have constant motion. So energy absorbed here is more than we need to provide for the rotation of this metal wire inside. So that's one way, but still in old way, it's like similar, like we are moving a magnet inside copper coils. It's the old way. So there are other variations of this. I don't know. You can also put like a magnet. I think Giovanni, you also did a magnet motor. Or, you explained me that years ago you developed magnetic motor. How it was? No, it's or you can explain. But idea is that we can attach also like a magnet here. And part of the wire can be also nano-coated. And copper around.
Yes.
Copper winding or just piece of copper? Okay, I don't understand this.
Only a phase.
Okay, yes. So we can put like copper around, and only the part which is which face to the center of the sphere that is nano-coated. So we can get these amplifications in a way, because there is one is matter, one is plasma, but when they interact, we can get this amplification. We should try to understand more this interaction of matter and plasma state of like GAN state of matter or nano state of matter. What was in the yes when. How can we look on this? Because if we have this matter inside, like this is a plasmatic environment, it's just, let's say, it's a magnetic field, and it's completely like in our body. When you put food in our body, the food changes from matter state to GAN state. We were talking about this in almost all of the health lectures. So here it's the same environment like in our bodies. It's plasmatic environment. And when we put matter inside, matter is more compact. It's packed together. And fields, it's resistor for the fields. They cannot flow very easily through this matter. And when we try to move this piece inside the plasmatic environments, we create like plasmatic wind, which create different strength on one side, than on the other side. And so we create field flow, dynamic field flow. Then when we go to on the outer side, it's because it's nano layer, and we get some kind of amplification. And when we absorb fields on the outer side, it's stronger than because once the fields from the higher order strength are absorbed in, let's say, lower order strength, you get this gain or this amplification. Okay, that's part of understanding. Maybe somebody will get any ideas out of this. It's how we can achieve also continuous motion and with a magnet, or once you put different magnets around in the right configuration, that you start the motion, but because you create magnetic field and you have nano structure inside, again you harvest field interaction in plasmatic level and higher order strength, and then absorb this outside and somehow get this perpetual motion. If you remember, you tried to make this magnetic motor years ago, or asking Giovanni. Magnetic induction. Okay. Well, I was thinking in that way to use, but still here it's still partly in the matter level. I think we have to increase our understanding in this part. Okay, what are the questions? What about nano-coating the middle of the wire as well? Middle of the wire. If you have hollow wire, yes. Why not? How we can? This is not very easy to explain. How to remember, but you have to go inside and try to understand this. Especially for me, I'm not very good in English, but I will try to explain in different way, maybe. Or maybe people will get a link, or I was doing this also in the health workshop on Thursday. So most of you most probably know about star formation and how is this star formation, because we are talking a lot of workshops now about star formation. And in star formation we have 4 physical reactors. 3 base reactors and 1 reactor on the top. Then we get this free plasma somewhere in the center. If this is base, it is top, then we have this free plasma somewhere there. Months ago, we measured very strong fields from the free plasma. So if we look at this, that these are like physical reactors. And this is free plasma. physical reactors, they work in, let's say, matter field strength, let's say, in matter field strength. But free plasma, because it's release of the fields of physical reactors, is in different field strength. And we can influence the free plasma from these physical reactors. We change parameters in physical reactors, like speed, like loadings, different guns, or whatever, and then we change position, strength of this free plasma. But we can do also in an opposite way. When free plasma is created and we use right magrav fields to influence this plasma and try to make it stronger, the physical reactors will have to react also they have to adapt, and they will to adapt themselves. They will feel like pressure, or if they're more loose, they will be able to move and get new position, so that they adapt to the strength of free plasma. And it's similar in our body. If we look at this as our amino acid, which is composed of 4 elements, NOCH, and if this is so C, or N or H, this one, our amino acid also creates free plasma, which we can say that works like that we can feel it with our emotions. We cannot touch it, but it exists, not in physicality, but in different field strength level. So the influence is both way. We can influence with emotionality to physicality of our body, or with physicality of our body to emotional state. And if we understand in which part we work in our like energy system, or in that device that Chinese showed us, we have to understand in which level we work. Once we work in the interactions of, let's say, free plasma or plasma in a higher order strength, and in the other case, we work in the interaction of the matter state. So we need to get this right interaction. Depends what we would like to achieve out of our system, but I just want to say that interaction is possible in both directions. Try to work in this understanding. Maybe I hope to somebody to understand better. That's how I understand the working of that experiment that the Chinese showed us. Is it possible to notice the link that the Chinese experiment you referred to? It's 10th Chinese workshop, if I remember correctly. Last one was 11th. The previous one was 10th workshop. So it's not so difficult. Go to YouTube, write down Chinese workshop number 10, go there, and you will get it. Difference in effect of twisting the middle of the wire before nano-coating it versus adding a bare copper wire wrapped around the middle of nano-coated wire. I don't know, I cannot say it at the moment. I have to rethink. It's too quick for me to say that. Maybe any other can comment on this. Okay, Chinese workshop on 13th of May 2015, and that workshop there was presented. Okay, our Canadian team. Are we still online or?
You bet. Yeah, we're still connected here. I'm just bringing up that 10th Chinese workshop there. You're talking about the reactor part? Or which?
That experiment about with nano-coated container, plastic container, and piece of metal wire inside.
Right.
The gentleman was able to move it with the object outside of the container. I was trying to do this in Coca-Cola bottle, but I couldn't do such a big movements. I was able to make tiny movements, almost invisible, just small vibration of the wire inside. But obviously it was a problem. The nano-coated Coca-Cola bottle was not completely nano-coated. Nano-coating was not perfect. Sorry, Vince, can you repeat? Yes, plastic is sometimes it's difficult. Depends on the type of the plastic. They're not all the same, and you have to perfect this art.
But there must be an easy or quick way to coat the plastic compared to a metal, as it is a CH bond instead of a heavier bond. Have you found any way to coat plastic besides the caustic method?
I don't know other methods.
Okay. I'll continue in my search. I think Ludmil will be the one to ask about that.
Yeah, well, it's choice of the people, what they want to share and what they don't want to share. Maybe about this Coca-Cola bottle, also Keshe explain more about this and why to create this nano-coating. He explained that in the process of making bottles, they first these bottles are very small. They are like this, and then they blow hot air into them, but they are inside the mold. So they hold them for their neck, and then they blow hot air into a Coca-Cola bottle. And in this process, the plastic is blown up. It's elongated, and it creates like weak structure inside the plastic. These CH bonds inside plastic are more weak, depends in which part of the Coca-Cola bottle. And also the neck, because of its structure, it's again a weak structure. And then when you nano-coat it with a caustic, this because it's already weak, you achieve quite easily nano structure on the top, and this is like CH structure. And inside Coca-Cola bottle, you have also some release of hydrogen, and this hydrogen creates deuterium. So even in the first video that Mr. Keshe showed us, showed the process how to make deuterium, and deuterium can be used in the reactors as a material instead of GaNs. So because this deuterium is GaNs of deuterium. Deuterium is neutron and proton. And it's GaNs of deuterium. This has a lot of application. This is third fuel for our plasma reactors because of the properties of this material. It's even one GaNs of deuterium is a star formation. If you look at it, it's if you look at inside, is a plasma of proton and neutron and electron. So it creates again free plasma. So when you know how to use this free plasma, it's much easier to just use deuterium instead of different GaNs. And deuterium as the basic material of our universe, and it's connected to central line of our universe. So you can have all the energies as a source from this deuterium. When it connects, when free plasma of deuterium is connected to the central line of our universe, and with the right condition, you can achieve with this but it's in a plasma state. So let's say it's proton and neutron, and one sits inside the other. It's not the separate element that we see in them in the matter physics. It's when it's plasma, it's one entity, but in different layers. And this is fuel for the future, for deep space travels. Okay, this is part of the online teachings. If you take plastic cup made from PET plastic, metal wire inside, no nano-coating on cup, no nano-coating cup of wire gives same movement. I don't know. As far as I know, if you don't have nano-coated plastic, you don't achieve any movement. Try it with not nano-coated and you can see it. I did try it and it works. So let's look at it more detail. If you take plastic cup made from PET plastic, metal wire inside, no nano-coated on cup or wire, give same movement. PET plastic, yes. Yes, please show us how and try to teach us. Can you come online, Jack Hamling?
Sorry, I'm just looking for his name here. Oh, he has no mic yet. Okay, so no, he doesn't have it.
There's no mic and camera yet.
But
it would be nice to show this. I don't understand what was the setup. If you have like picture or video, it's much easier, and you can see what is going on. It's easier to comment.
So, but there's some comments going on in live stream. Excuse me. There's some comments going on in live stream in regards to the plastic. Because I had asked if anybody had a better idea to coat plastic. Mike had actually wrote in there that adding a graphite GANs to the plastic will coat the plastic. And yes, I believe that's true. You can pretty much coat anything with coating it with GANs, as it will add that charge, like you say, Mike. It will add that charge to whatever material you put it onto. However, I do believe that the point of the cola bottle was not to coat it with another material, was to be able to use that CH bond and be able to use the H out of that in a dynamic and easy way to be able to access that H and not just coating the material. I think that was the entire point you're trying to get to there. Is that right, Marko?
Yeah, for sure. Well, that was just the beginning of our learning process about deuterium. Mr. Keshe tried to explain that you can get deuterium inside this.
Exactly. It's an easy way to get to it. Yeah, I'd like to have Mike come in to be able to talk to what he's talking about, so that he can try to explain it in his way.
So just add GaNs inside and you will achieve nano-coating much easier in the plastic. Is that correct, Vince?
He was saying add a graphite GaNs, but let's see if he can come in and explain exactly what he was meaning. So he'll be coming in a moment. Rick, do you have anything else in the meantime? Ready to go for anything else? I think we're up to about 2 hours and 40 minutes, but I hear Mr. Keshe coming in as well.
No, it's just trying to explain what actually, from the plasma point of view, happens. From plasma point of view, when you add a gas,
I love those dropouts.
you already
Just at the moment. Just at the
of
moment.
plasma. So,
Sorry,
am I
Mr.
there?
Keshe, we lost that last sentence. We couldn't hear it. It broke up.
You see, when you add the GaNs to your caustic, you already preset the condition and direction, and you create a gravitational magnetic field in the container. In the water processes, we add some GaNs into this liquid. Armen always does that when he makes the units for the water production. You add some GaNs into it too. You already preset the condition, and because the gas is plasmatic, the first layers which are loose are very atomic, very monomolecular. They get already ready for separation. So you preset the condition, and then the caustic does the rest of the job. And in so many ways, you ease the process. And that's why when you add GaNs to your bottle, you get a better result, because you have already created a condition environment for the process. That's the difference. You already loosen the top layers, which are magnetically free, but gravitationally attached. And then the material just releases itself and finds itself, and then you find, as you start the process, the next one follows, and that's why you get a better coating. Always understand the process, not just because you add matter to it. What does it do? How does it affect? How much does it affect? What's the process that I don't understand? How does it work in a plasma state, not in a matter state? It's literally, if you want to go further, go back to the matter state. When you want to make wine, or when you want to make vinegar, when you put the fruit in the pot, you add a spoon or a cup, half a cup of vinegar already into it. You preset the condition what you want. That's all you do. You just add what they call a yeast to it, which is made of the same. You add GaNs, and you have preset the condition, and it follows from whatever is loose. But this time the separation is magnetic gravitational, not in the matter state. Thank you.
Thank you. Is it Mike here to add something to this?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Mike.
All right. Hey, good morning, guys. All right, real quick. It's a very simple process, okay? All I did was I took 2 of those giant woodworking pencils. I broke the wood off of it. I took the 2 pencil leads. I used them as electrodes, okay? I put them in salt water with CO2, and I put 2 amps charge to it, and it produced graphite GaNs. Okay, the longer that I put the charge on there, the thicker the graphite GaNs got. All right. You take that GaNs, you can wipe it on anything, and it will maintain a charge. I just dipped copper wire and aluminum wire, and I put hot glue on it, and I'm getting a 0.5 volt. Okay, and we're talking maybe 1 inch of wire. Okay, I didn't put it in any caustic. I didn't do anything else with it. I just dipped it in the solution, and instantly I had a 0.5 volt. Okay, it's a very simple process. Now, there's a Canadian company that is snooping around on these forums, okay, and they picked up on my idea a couple weeks ago when I posted it on Skype, okay, in the Keshe forums. They picked up on it. They made it for themselves. They're using laser beams from your regular DVD player, okay, to basically trace graphene. All right, it goes from graphite to graphene when you add a laser beam to it. So now you can use that as, you know, like a circuit board or whatever you need, but you can do it using lasers. Okay, that produces the graphene. All right, graphite GaNs and graphene are two different things. All right, is there any other questions on that part?
Is that how the circuit?
So about plastic, you just dip plastic into this solution of graphite GaNs.
Yes.
You achieve like nano-coated plastic.
It is nano-coated plastic. If you want it to, when it on very smooth plastic or hard plastic, you got to sand it. Okay, it has to be a porous surface to maintain it, because the graphite is oily by nature. Okay, it'll still hold it, but once it starts to dry, or if you drop it or bounce it or something like that, then the graphite will slide off of the plastic. So a porous material, you know, sanding the plastic, like Bernard had said, will roughen it up a little bit, but the graphite will stick to it. Okay, and then when it dries, you still have a charge. Each one of those little pockets in there will hold about a 0.5 volt. It's pretty impressive. I like it.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
And it's a cold process. It can sit in a jar like I'm doing, and every time I hey, maybe I'll try this, you know, it works. If you're using the graphite solution and you put, I think, 1 graphite piece on your negative lead in salt water, or in your graphite GaNs that you've made, and then you put copper wire on the other one without touching any of the electrodes in your connecting wires into it, adding another material. Okay, so it's just the graphite electrode, and you know, I was using my my infinity loops. All right, and I would dip it in there, and in about 3 minutes I had a solid covering of graphite on top of my copper. Okay, it literally looked like somebody had taken a pencil and colored all of the wire. Okay, so it was a shiny silvery graphite. All right, and then you take it out and you let it dry, and it brushes off like pencil lead would. Okay, so you have to put some sort of a coating on it or whatever. That's just the graphite. All right, you add a laser beam to that, and I haven't tested this yet because I just came to that knowledge this evening. Thank you, everybody. I believe Nadine brought up lasers. But I will test it on my end to see if my little lasers work, because I have a high-powered club laser, and I've got the little red dot pet chasing lasers, and so I can test.
Can I add something there, Mike?
But yeah.
Yeah, if you're going to do that, if you don't get any reaction with that, I would maybe suggest using a LightScribe DVD drive. Those are pretty good to be able to coat a DVD, which is plastic, and to be able to light scribe it inside your DVD drive.
Okay, that's I think what the Canadian company was using was a quote unquote common household items.
Yeah.
But I don't have a light scribe DVD.
Do you
have
a DVD drive? Then just put it in there and try to read it. See if it does
okay.
anything.
I'll see what I can do on it. But it's very, very simple, and I was kind of shocked at how simple it was. And I've been trying to share it for a while because I know that Emmanuel was talking about a cold process, and then we heard you talk about it. I ran to the bathroom, and my wife came in and says, they're talking about a cold nano-coating process. Where were you? I was going to the bathroom. My bad. So this will help everybody out, okay? Just get some pencils and break the leads open or break the wood off of it, okay? That's your electrodes. You can put any voltage to it that you want to create your graphite GANs. All right, and then from there, we can figure out in these really big, expensive laboratories what you can do with that, okay? So that's what you need. I have a voltmeter in my eyeballs, okay, and an iPad that's broken. It's getting broke. That is my laboratory. So I need some help with all the expensive oscilloscopes and pretty little gadgets that you guys got up there to help the process along. And I know the world is listening, and there's a lot of equipment out there that you can test this stuff on. And this is a jump forward in the nano-coating process.
We are not using oscilloscopes here.
Okay.
Mr. Keshe doesn't want them. It works in a metal level, and we want to go away from metal level. So that's
good then. I don't have one. I don't need one. But everybody else needs numbers, and they wanted numbers and explanations, so that's why I suggested it.
Better try to understand the process than to put it in the numbers, I would say.
Yes. It's the same process for the graphite GANs that I made my gold GANs. Okay, I just took a gold necklace and I used them as electrodes inside the CO2 and salt water. And I watched the gold atoms fall off of the necklace. It was a bright green, and then it finally settled down and, and started changing into the many different metals that the necklaces are made of. Okay, and I could clearly see the 4 or 5 different metals that my necklace was made of. It makes me mad at the jewelry company because it's less gold than there's everything else.
Yeah, you can find out even in a copper. There are a lot of different types of coppers.
Yeah, the impurities are the deception is.
Yeah. When you do different nano coatings, you will observe different colors. So it depends what kind of copper you are using. That will be also the result. Sometimes you get like reddish, sometimes greenish, bluish, and it all depends on different composition, different alloys that are added to the copper.
Right, and to include the water for part of it, the minerals that are in it, the oxygen content. I mean, there's so many different variables that just a message to everybody listening, don't try to replicate exactly, okay? Because you're never going to get that exact replication, all right? It's a summarized group, you try to get it within 10 points of each other. You can't get all the way down to 0, but you try to get it on 5 points on either side, and you're good. Okay, because you're going to achieve a similar result. Maybe not the exact one, but the similar result. And a lot of people are getting stuck on the exact numbers and the exact measurements and the exact size of, a cup or a reactor or whatever it might be. So just kind of relax on yourselves. Trust your instincts. You already know how to do this, guys. All right, you're just trying to remember. You've been doing this.
Notes what you're doing, that you have like diary or something, and when you get some results, that you can go back to your notes and to see what you were exactly doing at that time.
Yeah, and I personally shared all of my drawings that people have appreciated. There's some 93 pictures or whatever that I shared on my Google Drive on all of the drawings that I have that everybody has requested. It's all in one folder. And as I make more, I'll continue to add them to them because everybody's enjoying the simplicity or the understanding of them. You know, if you guys can put that up sometime on here, make it available. I don't know how to share the pictures individually or in a mass that way other than with Google Drive with you guys. So I'm going to leave it up to you tech guys out there to help disperse the pictures and the information. That'll help everybody too.
I think what you're doing right now is good, Mike, by posting it on Facebook. A lot of people go to the Facebook to be able to see that stuff because they know you'll be on there. And having it on a Google Drive, yes, we can definitely post a link in the live stream, or you can post a link there to have people to be able to watch it or go to see what you add.
Okay, I appreciate it, and I know everybody else will too. I encourage everybody to post your drawings, even if they're not finished. Okay, because there might be one thing in there that might trigger somebody else's inspiration. Okay, like, you know, watching Marko draw the coils and the things on the whiteboard inspired me, you know, to do some things. So, you know, it's just a little bit. The universal language right now is pictures.
Then you would
because
love the
we may not
online
understand
teaching.
all of the. I'm sorry, Vince.
I said then you'd love the online teaching because there's lots of drawing going on there too.
I've been trying to get on there. It's 4:30 in the morning, 4:40 here in the morning, and
it's always available.
Yep. So, but we can do this, and we're going to be moving forward very quickly, like Mr. Keshe says. Made some huge revelations today just by myself, you know, and I've noticed several other people that are, you know, in the crowd that I'm following or with, or whatever you want to call it, that are becoming more aware and expressing more knowledge and more understanding, and then they're sharing it, and then that's causing the chain reaction. Okay, and we can thank Mr. Keshe for opening Pandora's box, because this world is about to see a level of love and power that has never been seen before, and all of the knowledge seekers and everybody that's listening to this at any time is part of that. So, you know, just keep spreading the love, and know that if you got questions, anybody can ask me. You can ask any of these other knowledge seekers. Don't be afraid. The only dumb question is the one that's not asked.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike, for all your help.
Did anybody have any more questions for me before I get off of here?
Well, I just want to say thanks, Mike, for all your contributions and viewpoints and so on that you've presented for quite some time here, and you've been quite you know, out there and vocal with your stuff to let people know and to share and so on. So I appreciate that openness. That's great.
Well, it's my job right now. I don't have any other things to do in the world except this and take care of my family. So, you know, I enjoy it. You know, I can't exactly call it quiet time in my head because it's not quiet at all. But
yeah, and it can be almost frustrating at times because we get into little dead ends and we think, you know, how can I make this work and work better and so on. But it's all great fun in terms of a challenge, and it's the way of the future. There's no doubt about it at all.
Yeah, and Mr. Keshe, I know you're busy and everything, and I really appreciate this opportunity again. Like I said, I'm sorry I've been gone for a few weeks or months or whatever. I don't even know the time frame anymore. But I had to deal with my own self, and I had to reflect on my own self and take care of my own needs before I could give the love away, give away the information, give away the knowledge. Another thing that I've figured out real easy is that, a lot of people are intimidated by the word love, okay? They're intimidated by it. And then if you do feel that way, just change the word to respect, okay? I respect you. I respect all living things. I respect this planet, okay? And then when you're more comfortable with yourself, okay, then you change it to I love this, I love you, I love this world, and I love this planet. I love everything about it. And then you're more confident in yourself, and your confidence reflects your own soul. And that's where you're going to get your power from, your energies. All right, guys? Until next time, I get out of here. I'm so dark.
Thanks, Mike. And you mentioned the magic four-letter word love, and we have somebody that's one of her most favorite words, I think, as Eliya would like to speak here. So perhaps we can hear from her before we start thinking about closing off the workshop here soon, I think. Hey, Marko, or what do you think?
Yeah, hello, thank you. This is really my favorite word because it's vibrational state. And I appreciate the people where they're able to reach that vibrational state and just to live in that field, because it's amazing really to spread all over the world this frequency. So I just wanted to share my understanding about nano-coating, because we speak a lot of the chat rooms with the knowledge seekers from the institute and around the world, but actually it's nano-coating, and have different kind of questions and misunderstanding. And we chat in the live stream like the next 2 hours with Mike and other people around. And we try to explain what actually it's our understanding about nano-coating. So nano-coating is opening the door. How you just stay in front of one door and you want to enter the next level, in or out, you're supposed to open this door. So you're supposed to find the key to just unlock the door and to go inside. And in medical language, this is the connection between, if you know the enzymes, they have a specific shape, and all the receptors, they have a specific shape. When the shape of the enzyme match to the shape of the receptor, they connect, and the door inside of the membrane of the cell just open, and all the reaction between inside of the cell and outside of the cell, they start. This is like the starting point and opening the door for exchanging the information between two parts of the membrane, in and out. The same is coating. You're supposed to find that kind of material who have the same shape like a surface what you want to open. So for the transitional metals like copper and zinc, that shape of the caustic, how we call the caustic substance, caustics mean in something which is able to broke the bond between two particles. So for transitional metals, because of their crystalline structure, copper and the zinc, you may able to find them 3D model all over the internet. So the match shape is of the soda caustic. This is the potassium oxide, because this is on the shape of Metatronic cup. And when this Metatronic cup arranged in the space between two crystalline particles of the copper, is able to break the bond between the molecules, atoms of the copper. In that way, it is make the door space gap, how we call regarding the Mr. Keshe technology. So to enter the next level, to next state of matter, you're supposed to open that door between the state of matters. So in this case, the sodium oxide on that shape is open, is able to open this door for the copper and zinc. But for other surfaces, you need different kind of materials to open that door. The sodium oxide is used for so many surfaces, but not for all. That we wanted with Mike to explain to others, because they got confused what actually is mean nano-coating. Nano-coating is the deeper level after the material state. To go inside, you're supposed to open the door. How to open this door? You're supposed to find that kind of shape of the molecule, atom, particles, which is matched to the surface of the solid matter, what you're supposed to break in and to go inside of the nano state of this matter. For example, we need to find out how to go inside of the matter level of the copper to the nano copper. And then when we go inside of the nano copper, we start to search how to go to the deepest level, GaNs copper. Do you understand? This is the layering of different state of matter. So all the layering have the gates, have the door, and you're supposed to find out how to enter this door. So with the sodium oxide, you just open the door, but when you go inside, you will not close the door. You just staying little open. So the fuels go out and in. They have a draft. If you use the baking soda, because contain the calcium, you just closing the door after you enter in. It's just like you put the stone to hold the door in, and from inside you're not able to open anymore because it's locked from outside. Someone locked you from outside. It means that you close the surface and that's it. And because of that, Mr. Keshe said, when you want to separate different state of matter, you use some kind of carbonate inside, because calcium is locking the process. Because of that, have that kind of functions inside of these particles in different state of them existence, like a solid, like a nano, or like a GaNs. So if you use the potassium oxide to open the door for both sides from inner core inside of the reactor and to nano-coat again the other side, you have a huge draft of fields that he wants to explain you, Mr. Keshe, and before time Armen, because you're supposed to open two doors to get a draft, and then you get the speed. Do you understand? You have air, but when you open two in front of doors to face each other, you get the draft. So what this means? The air starts to have a speed, flow, and then you are able to get different state of matter reacting to each other. When you transform state of matter one by one, you get the speed, because actually they behave like a different fields where they rub to each other. During the rubbing, you get a motion. And in matter level, we call this motion moving, lifting, landing, submerging, walking of the body, whatever. This is because of interaction of two fields. But these two fields or state of matter can be from one material, only copper, only hydrogen, only zinc, or whatever you need to use. That's why the point is to not lock the door, just to open and to maintain to be open. And for transitional metals, this is more easy, the sodium oxide, because of the shape of the sodium oxide. If you use potassium oxide, this is the half shape of sodium oxide. Because of that, is less effective. But if you mix it, you have like a 1 metatronic cube and 1/2 metatronic cube. So one is open the door, other one is just pushing to not close by chance of something. And that's why it's more effective when you mix. And when you use the current, you just enforce the process, because all your cells, they work with current. They can And this current is because of changing of ions of two sides of the membrane. And what you exchange mostly, this is sodium and potassium. So when you use for nano-coating sodium and potassium in the hydroxy base, that you do, you open the door and the fields from nano state, they start to have a draft. If you want to go to the gun state, you're just supposed to open next start gate. The same you use when you fly. So if you want to go to the moon, you open the gate for a moon, you tune to that frequency. If you want to go after the moon to the Mars, you have to open the next one start gate. You cannot go with the frequency of one door. You tune to this door, open, go in, and then you find out how to tune yourself to the next one frequency and go to the next one start gate. That is the meaning of nano-coating, just to go inside of the matter. And when you want to go out, you just do the vice versa process. That is my thinking, and that when we spoke with Armen, he said how to explain to them in more easy way. Because actually that is also his understanding when he said that to nano-coat to both sides. And Mr. Keshe explained to you so many times why supposed to nano-coat to both sides, just to get a speed draft of the fields. So that I just wanted to say in the way how I'm able to explain, and hope it's useful for you to understand and to visualize, because the things, they are really simple. Just to visualize, like Mike said, in your way. Thank you.
Thank you, Eliya. That was great. Do we hear Mr. Keshe?
What I could add to, yes, if it's okay for me, whatever we heard is still in that state of schizophrenic, connecting matter to plasma. When you create the condition of the elements in the condition we've done up to now, you only work in plasma condition. Once you start connecting with gates and others, you're back into the schizophrenic condition. And this is what we're trying to avoid. Understand the structure of nanomaterial as the condition created for them to be done. Because sodium with the oxygen and hydrogen create a gravitational magnetic field which affects and is got common denominator with most of the elements on this planet. This is something which has never been understood. So we do not go into the matter state that we add this or that to it. We understand a simple principle that sodium, as Marko explained, and he just touched on it, and I think most of you missed, is got the common denominator gravitational magnetic field of most of the elements on this planet. And that's why it allows them to be separated. Opens the channel. We are looking at the plasma and not in the matter state. There is no gates to open up. You create a gravitational magnetic field with the matter within the salt, sodium and chlorine in the environment of the water. That in that environment creates a gravitational magnetic field of most of the elements within the structure of the metals and semiconductors and most of the conductors on this planet. It has nothing to do with gating. It does not open anything. And the flow of the currents you get is when plasmas are find their own position. They create, up to now they were stuck to each other as a matter state. Now that you free them, they are free to flow to find their own position. And the flow to find their own position creates the current, which the residual of it, we see it as a small current you collect on the running your electrodes or whatever LED lights. What we heard from Dr. Kostova, it's very well defined, but it's in a matter state. does not apply into the plasma. And this is what we're trying to avoid.
Mr. Keshe, if I may?
Perfect definition in matter state. Yes?
All right, it's Mike.
Carry on.
What Eliya was trying to explain was not the matter state. It was the excitement of the atoms on the surface of the matter.
No, it is exactly where it does not go. You do not excite them. You create gravitational magnetic field balance pool. There is no excitement in plasma condition.
Is it vibrational, or is that just...
The vibration of the plasma is what you come, it makes sense to you in a matter state. Okay. It's not vibration, because it's a clear locking up of entities in plasmatic magnetic field, and when the position becomes to a point with respect to the salt, or sodium and chlor, then you find out the balance comes into and the other fields affect and create the release. You have to look at the totality of the structure. You have certain amount of sodium and chlor, and they can work and share the gravitational magnetic field with certain numbers. And when they're all tied up, you find out that your process stops, because there is no more fields to share amongst to create the condition of magnetic gravitational pull. If this was not the KFSSI, this does not happen. That's why you find saturation in most of your containers. After a while, you cannot produce any more GaNs, or it goes very slow. Because what you see, which is not invisible to the eye, is that the whole container has become balanced gravitational magnetic field-wise. Right. This explanation of connecting is creating a lot of problem, and I don't know how to teach you the way of looking at it. You are jumping between the two, and because you can justify it in the matter state, so it applies in the plasma state. This has to stop. Till you don't understand this.
Okay, well, we're trying to understand it.
We understand it. We just wanted to translate to people, and they to start.
Yeah, but if you translate the wrong way, the knowledge is carried the wrong way. This is the problem. This is what we have to stop. People on the edge of science, edge of technology, people who are on the... Because this is what I was explaining to Marko yesterday when we were going for lunch. When we, on this level, put certain ideas out, is accepted to be because it goes in the teachings. And when people with the knowledge and certificate explain their way and they say this is what it is, then it gets accepted and we are back in the same mess. This is what I was teaching yesterday in the teachings. The whole, even last night in the Mike Harris program. Because we are shown a magnet. On our first day, we come in touch with magnet as a student, maybe the first year in the school. We have that preconceived idea that the whole magnetic field is. And that's what I said. If you change a straight magnet to a spherical magnet, and I still call it a magnet, we will understand plasma better. And now the explanation I heard is schizophrenia. Stop this morning, and all the sessions is going in about the plasma.
We've lost you there, Mr. Keshe.
Must have hit a tunnel. One of the many in Italy, I think.
Of producing the non-leaded fuel, and I have a very good leaded fuel without the water in it. This is you have to move to the next step. Nanostructure, we all know how to create nano now. Caustic, electricity, whatever. Moving to the next step, you're getting fallen behind. How are you going to use this in production of energy, motion, and food? It looks like you're refusing to grow up. Or you, as I said to one of my patients, you need a kick in the backside. Move. Finished. We've done it. It's done. Everybody knows how to make GANs now. Start understanding how you can use it to create new materials, to create new conditions, to create motion. Finished. You can talk. Somehow a lot of you got bogged down with GANs and you're refusing to grow up. Teenagers have it over, become men, join the club. This is, and then you get on so much. I see in the chat room, so much goes on. This GANs, doesn't matter what GANs you made. If you would have joined the teachings, we explain it's irrespective of what GANs you need or what GANs you create. At the end product is creating free plasma in use in the space. You get the same result you use as CO2, you get the same result you use as copper oxide. What's this discussion continuously does this and that? You've done the separation, you've grown from matter state into the plasma state. Start using it. Until you don't do this, all these chat rooms, as I made a hint on it last week, I'm going to close these chat rooms because it's not allowing the others to go to the next step. There is enough knowledge, there is enough teaching around. Most of you done some most beautiful teachings and producing the GANs matter from the materials. Now it's finished. We found the oil. What are we going to do with it? Sit there and watch it and marvel. Oh, we found a beautiful oil. One is a light oil, one is a heavy oil. One is from Saudi Arabia, one is from America. What are you going to do with it? The change has to come, grow up, and from next time, start talking what you're going to do with it, how you're going to use it. This is how we start teaching yesterday and the day before in the teachings. It's irrelevant. It's achieved. You landed on the moon. What are you going to do? Stay there? Sorry about this, but somehow we have to bring this into front. You lot are holding the movement backwards. You're holding us back because now we learn the whole was a Coca-Cola bottle can do as a gold can do. And in the space you can't eat gold and you can't eat Coca-Cola. You need the energy of the plasma. Now you released it, use the energy. Use its properties. Move away from the matter state. Otherwise, this will go on every day. I've listened to 3 hours of today of how to make a nano, what the nano does, whatever. Try to move on. It's over. The party is finished with GANs. Now start using it. You made it. All of you have made all sorts. I've seen the most beautiful demonstration there, and I thank you for your understanding. Now let's put the fuel in the tank and get the engine running. Use the fuel as the engine. That's what it is. That's why you don't need another engine. Start interacting it. Start using it. Start seeing the beauty of the creation instead of being bogged into what the beauty could be because you don't want to grow up. Thank you very much.
Hello. I want to show you guys, is the camera is open? You can see it? Yeah, but it's a GANs back to nano state. Use a hot caustic and you can right away create a nano particles. You can use all the GANs together, mix it, and you have to use hot caustic. And it just right away goes black. You can dry it, wash it, dry it, or you can use it as a liquid too. And next thing, you can try a box, put nano material not on the sides, up or bottom. I use 2 containers. And I create a lot of GANs actually, without connection.
Okay, and now your magic drying method, please.
You just put a small lamp on top of it, and in the morning you will have dried GANs.
Actually, I did this recently due to the online teachings, and yes, I use a 100-watt bulb on a just not even a cloth, just inside of a bucket, and no problem, dried GANs. Was there anything else that we need to add to the reactors, Armen?
No, this is your nanoparticle.
Now, what is that? Is that CO2?
This is copper GANs. Becomes black right away. Your GANs transform back to nanomaterial. There's the caustic.
Yeah, I've done that with the vinegar and the CH3 and CO2.
Yeah, but some vinegars, they don't have enough acidity, to transform, so you use caustic. It's instant. You don't need to wait.
So I think what Mr. Keshe was trying to get across was that it doesn't matter what we use for the GANs. Our end goal is to be able to get the fields, to get the reactors in motion, and start using what we have in front of us, and go to the next level. And I think that's what he was trying to convey, is all we need to know, we have all the materials. It's time to put the recipes together. We have many different versions that we can do, and people need to keep trying.
Well, just understand that this is, the magnetic separation of it's nanoparticles.
Right. You need the 3 states. It doesn't matter which GANs. And that's why I think Mr. Keshe was saying that we need to go ahead, is that it doesn't matter. You have CO2. It's very easy to create. We've all done it, like he said. Creating the 3 different types of that GANs or the plasma is what we're looking for to create those layers. So what would you suggest, Armen or Marko, to be able to just take the CO2 and bring it back to the matter state to be able to use it? And my suggestion is vinegar.
Can I say something? I think there is a part of information missing because we teach so much every day. We have to bring in light the people who listen to the workshop. What we are talking about is that in the teachings of the week, we explain that you have a plasma, and then added to the GANs, it will behave slightly different. And then if you make the nano structure of the GANs, as Armen was just talking about, then you have the same material in a different state of GANs too. So you have GANs of copper, you have a dried GANs of the copper, and then you have nanostructure of the GANs of copper. When you mix these together, you have 3 magnetic fields interacting. And if you can bring it into the right motion, you create the interaction of creating gravity and magnetic field at the same time in the reactor. So for those who don't understand or missed it because you're not part of the teaching every day, this is where the discussion is. That's why now the discussion about creating a nanomaterial from CO2 and the rest is coming in. We nanosized it. It was attached to the material. We couldn't separate it. We separated it as a GANs. We dried it. Now Armen and other systems which Emmanuel showed weeks ago, and to convert by using vinegar or caustic, to convert the energy back into the GANs to create it in a state of matter. So, but still in the nano state, and in nano state, it stays as a dynamic. And then what it does, you will understand very easy, that the plasma in the GANs state becomes one side, you create a separation wall, what we call the inner core and the outer core of the Earth at the moment. With the nanomaterial, you create the inner core, the solid wall, and then you create the separation with the outer core. And then your GaNs becomes your Caroline core fuel. So you create a physical partition with the nanomaterial, if you get it right, magnetically or dynamic. So for the first time, man can create a dynamic plasma, exactly the way it's done in the stars, from one matter. And that's what Vince was trying to explain. This is where the information is lost, and we have to put it correct. So if you made a GaNs, Armen showed you a few months ago, how to wash it, all the salt out, and then put it on the light to dry it very rapidly. It becomes a powder. That's now, if you add that power to the GaNs, to the water, which is a GaNs material with a clean water, no salt in it, now you have the same thing of the same strength, a slightly with different mass, floating inside each other. And then you have converted it with a caustic to a nano again, and now you have the tree. So you have a true star formation fuel conformation. You can put a copper GaNs, dry GaNs of copper, and a nano GaNs of the copper, and then in another reactor put CO2, in another reactor put three conditions of the CH3 or any other material. You should be able to reach flight, and that's what they are trying to do since yesterday. Achieve flight with one fuel. And then what it does, we explained that you create deuterium condition, a plasma of a neutron covered by the plasma of a proton inside it. And that's it. That's the aim. And now that's what I said. Move away from copper oxide. Move away from making GaNs. We've done it. Now the three states are done. Let's go on. Let's create energy. Let's create motion. Let's use the energy which is released by the GaNs in a GaNs state to create free plasma. That's all it is. And that's why I said it's time to move on. Those who understand or were not there because if you don't join the teachings, this is what it's about. We are on the verge of a major breakthrough for humanity. Creation of motion exactly the way the stars do. By mixing, by adding, by creating motion amongst the same level, the same structure with a slightly different mass, but the same magnetic field connection. In the past, when you put the GaNs in your reactor, it stuck to the wall and became one because there was no fluidity in it. So now, by adding the other two, you try to create it dynamic, then you got your gravitational field. These are part of the teaching which you are missing in the
Can I put up that picture?
Yes, so go ahead, of course.
Rick, can you put up that picture for me that I sent you?
As we have, I don't see it because I'm on the iPhone, I'm not on a laptop, I can't see the picture. I don't know which picture it is. But what you got to realize, what we've done in the past year, we've done in the past years of teaching, especially in the past year in the SSI, in the Sensano, whatever we taught during the week to the students, we try to discuss it during the workshops. Now we teach every day, huge amount of information is getting passed on. Very few people are there to take it, but those who are taking it, then they understand or sometimes misunderstand the information, and they bring the wrong information on the table of the others who are not part of the teaching, or they cannot join the part of teaching. This has to be corrected, or it has to be explained. Now you understand, as we done before, where the difference has come and what we are talking about. That's why I said the time to play with GaNs is over, it's finished. Now we know how to make the tree state of it, mix it together, two will go in one direction and one go with the other direction. You have your two fields interacting and repulsing, you got your gravity and magnetic field. This has been the dream of the man. You're wasting your time a little bit on how the little thing does. Time is over. We have to be realistic and we have to move on. Thank you very much.
Do you have any more questions, guys? You don't need to scratch the nanomaterial.
I have a question.
Yes.
What picture did you want me to put on? Was there a picture someone wanted me to put on first?
Yeah, Rick, it's the picture I sent you in Skype. That's what I was talking about, the one that he left up on the board for the longest time. I got a screenshot of that, so I thought maybe you could put that up just to see.
The Peace Day image? You sent me in Skype. We have the home, we have the Peach Day. I don't see anything else here. Oh, the board image, you mean? Okay, yes, got it. Thank you.
Go ahead, Emmanuel.
Hello, may I ask a question?
Sure.
About the center free plasma that's to be generated, that would be in an open environment after the layers are formed, or do we try to actually make it completely full inside the container?
Completely full.
I mean, do we need to fill up the container to its maximum capacity so that there's as little or no air as possible?
Yes.
Thank you.
And happy birthday, Emmanuel. All the best to you.
Oh, happy birthday, Emmanuel. We didn't know that.
Thank you.
Yes, I didn't know that either. Thank you. Happy birthday, Emmanuel. And do we all want to start singing happy birthday to Emmanuel?
Going to just Marko? Almost break into that.
Is that okay, Emmanuel?
Happy birthday to you.
That's a good voice there, man.
To you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear word.
Emmanuel.
Happy birthday, free plasma
to you.
I have a birthday cake over here. Walk on the camera.
Please enjoy a slice for me. Please enjoy a slice for me. And share the enjoyment with the world.
Blow it, Emmanuel.
There, blow it, Emmanuel.
That's your... Man, my hair is shaking.
No kidding. Okay.
Well.
Okay, Vince, are you going to explain the picture that you have put on yesterday?
Oh, I hear. Okay, there we go. Well, he was talking. Oh, Mr. Keshe, are you there?
Yes, I'm listening.
Okay. You were talking about adding the GANs, having it sitting and settling at the bottom. Can you see the picture, Mr. Keshe?
Yep.
Oh, good. And then when we rotate at a high speed, we obtain the band, or the bandwidth, as you like to call it. But we also squish everything together and not allow the rotation and the sliding of the field. So what we were suggesting, and what Mr. Keshe explained there too, was that having the layers, we're able to keep that separation. It's really loud on Mr. Keshe's end. I think I'll just mute him there while I say that. By keeping that separation, we're able to keep it full and rotate it slowly so it separates into its proper masses. Then also able to get into what we were talking about by the layerings. Being able to release the fields and also interact with the different fields of the different layers that we have created just in those means. So that's what I think was explained yesterday with the pictures. To keeping those layers from sliding out to the walls due to the inertial forces of the rotation. So slow rotation, you don't have those forces. Did you want to add anything else, Mr. Keshe?
Mr. Keshe looks like he's muted right now. Are you trying to speak, Mr. Keshe?
Maybe they're going over some bumps.
Guys, you have to try different things. Let's say if I here, let me put my camera up and show you different.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. We are coming nearly to 4 hours of the session today. It's nearly 12:30. We started at 8:30. The only thing I wish, and there will be, I think, the wish of most of us, is to take from today is and in the last half an hour, you might have come to understand how you have for the first time in your hand the tools to create the piece. Not about the fuel of it, it's about applying it the correct way to lead to what the target is. So what we put at the beginning, which was a roadmap, and what we learn at the end comes together to allow man to achieve a lucid peace. And now the rest is in your hand, nobody else. So we can discuss this as long as you like, but time is, in a way, to put your shoes on and start walking in the path of peace, both with the knowledge that now you have the last solution, and on the other hand, the knowledge that what is going to bring. And that's what we're asking, to bring the knowledge in the correct way for man, for him to see the light of peace. And if you put these reactors, if you put these gases in the right order, the man will see the light. It's your job and nobody else's. Time for talk is over. It's done, it's finished. And I thank you very much for today. I have to close because now I've entered the room. I will not have much reception. Thank you indeed. Thank you for the day. Thanks, Rick.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Thanks, Vince. Thank you.
Thank you. May I add,
Thank you.
may I add something before we close? Something from the teaching the other day about praying for the reactor and your soul, and being one of the most important aspects of the fuel for the free plasma itself. If we could, I don't know if we've been talking about that at all, but just wanted to bring that up.
As you brought it up, I would definitely like to talk about it if we have a couple more moments. Do you have time, Marko? You're okay there?
I think it's enough for today. We are 4 hours, and
well, we have to save something for next time. I guess.
Yeah, we have to close off here.
This afternoon, maybe we can continue with this in our online teachings, because we have to start at 2 o'clock again our afternoon session, and let's continue then. Unfortunately, it's not for everybody, but the people who are online teachings can participate to that.
Okay, that sounds good. Let's end the workshop now. This is the 63rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, and it's Thursday, May 28th, 2015. Thank you, everybody, for attending.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Marko.